Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where today we're going to be talking about Carry Loose with the song Ningen. And as always, it's a reaction and a review, and this is the review video. If you would like to see the reaction first of all, pause this video, click the little link in the description below, we'll open a separate little YouTube player, and you can watch the song with me, just in case you haven't heard it, or in case you want to see how I reacted. Exciting stuff, right? Because here comes the review. You ready for the review? Don't say I didn't warn you. Pause this if you need to. And here we go. Alright, so as I was kind of alluding to before that, I mean, you guys know if you've been following this for a while, certainly before we restarted the channel, we did a lot of stuff, especially with Bish, a bit of Biss as well, and then we had the Whack Weekend where I was catching up on so many other artists, listened to a few Empire songs as well. You know, we've really sort of delved in quite a lot with the Whack roster, so to speak. Now, the interesting thing about that is that in spite of all of the artists who we've been hearing coming out of this relatively small stable, in all fairness, they've got a lot of fame, but kind of a small deal, as in the number of people working there. From everything I've gathered, this is they've really sort of punched above their weight, and one of the things that really is notable in that is, especially with Bish, is the fact that their songs that they do are very, very varied. They're all very different. They have kind of a core sound, but they're very varied. And, everything they do, they execute really, really well. And this kind of applies, from what I've seen, to most of the Whack artists. Most of the Whack artists have other sort of styles. You listen to one of their songs, and then you're totally thrown by the next song. So when I listen to this, I'm expecting the next song I hear by them to be completely different, and I will listen to more of them. But this is my first ever time hearing them. And the interesting thing is, although, like I say, they're very good at doing all of these very different things, there is still a bit of a core sound, like a safe sound that these Whack artists go back to a lot of the time. And it's a sound that, there's this one sound that you'll hear in some songs by Bish, in some songs by Empire, in some songs by Biss. It's kind of like a core sound, which seems to be, like I say, the safe, comfortable sound. And this is very much playing to that. This song, if you hadn't heard any Whack songs before, might throw a couple of curveballs your direction. But if you've heard as many Whack songs as we have here, this very much is a song where you can see everything coming. The style of the melody, the style of the intro, the pre-chorus. The chorus itself, like I said, was a little bit different from what I expected, but overall, the tone of it was very similar. And then the bridge, which had that guitar solo, which I kind of like it. I don't think you need twiddling. Sometimes just a melodic guitar solo is enough, but it sounds like, I'm pretty sure that guitar solo has appeared identically in at least 3 other Bish Whack songs, probably Bish. And then the way it goes to your pre-chorus breakdown, final chorus, ends on a big dramatic note. This was very much in keeping with what we'd expect. The example I usually use is, and I used it quite a lot, is people talk about Nakata Yasutaka, the producer for Kyary Pami Pami and Perfume, and the fact that his sound he has a sound he's comfortable with, and he rarely varies enough away from that for a lot of people's tastes. Obviously, with the Whack artists, they tend to vary a lot more away from that core sound much more often, but it is still becoming very painfully clear what that core sound is when they want to bank a very Whack song. Whack as in company, not as in adjective, slang adjective. So when I was listening to this, it felt kind of really predictable. So the question was, did it do that well? Well, actually, yeah, it's not that I'm tired of that sound. It's not that I find it repetitive. It's just that it wasn't going to take me in any direction that I was not expecting, which usually is what I get from the Whack artists. Most of the time, I'd say a good 70% of the time. So, when I was listening to this, I was like, okay, I can kind of predict where this is going, but it's doing it well. Like I said, the chorus was nice. I like that sort of descending bass line thing that gives a sense of drama to it. It felt dramatic. It felt kind of anthemic at the same time. So it's a good chorus. It had a good flow. Like I say, it follows that formula, but it flowed really well throughout. At no point did it feel like it was getting old or kind of stuck in a rut or going in any direction that it couldn't turn around from. Just the song felt like it was the product of, a writer who has done this sound before and has perfected it. And that in itself is something that is not to be sniffed at. I think it gives them a great song. Vocally, they reminded me a lot of Bish, actually. Fewer members, only 4 of them, but you could hear that the balance of they've got the different singers all have their own voice. Another thing which is very notable and very creditable about most of the artists under this heading. However, it was nice to hear that they did, like I say, have those very individual voices. They did sound unique. You could hear the different personality in the way they sung. And this tied in with a video that starts off kind of conventional and cool, you know, people walking around Tokyo. Seen that before, haven't we? Nicely filmed, nice little techniques to it. It was intriguing how it went into that sudden strange bit with the, oh my god, it looks very, very hot now. That was kind of weird. And then it kind of comes round to what effectively was a single frame. Hey, look at us, aren't we best friends kind of thing. So there was kind of a weird tone to the way it flowed. But maybe there's something lyrically guiding that I didn't pick up on. Not quite quick enough to pick up a lot of the lyrics a lot of the time. But if still nonetheless, it kind of felt good. You know, like I said, the first bit felt like you were kind of taking in a very simple, obvious, normal looking video. The middle bit kind of felt fun. And the last bit, like I say, showed a bit of personality, showed a bit of camaraderie, friendship. Again, nothing to be sniffed at there. This, I would say, I'm being fair here, I would say that this doesn't in any way push any boundaries or do anything you haven't heard if you're familiar, like I say, with the stable, if you're familiar with the material that they put out. If you're not familiar, I think this is going to be something that you will respect the quality and really take it in. You'll probably enjoy it a lot. If I'm having to therefore read a little bit ahead here, as this is the first song we've heard by them, in that if they are like the rest of their peers under the label, actually holding onto a catalogue full of very varied songs with a lot of different styles, then yeah, this is brilliant. If they phone in a lot of very similar stuff, then I think that would kind of detract from this. So my final opinion is probably going to be delayed a little bit until I hear more of them to get an idea of how this balances against the rest of their material. But giving the benefit of a doubt and assuming that they, like all of their other peers, have very varied catalogues of music, then I would say this is them doing that core sound really well, adding a nice bit of personality, and just coming out of it looking good. So I enjoyed this. I think it was a good little song that I can certainly say that I would be happy to listen to again. I think that in a playlist of songs under this label, I would say that maybe it could start to feel a little bit washed out and a little bit, it would lose a little bit of its sparkle in that context. But I think that just holding it on its own, giving it its credit where it's due, good stuff. So like I said, there's a lot of ways that you could view this. Personally though, I will be listening to it again. I'll be listening to more of them as well in the future, which I will bring to you guys also. Just, yeah, like I say, enjoyable stuff. You can't really complain about that. If you leave the song enjoying it, then you're happy. Anyway, I've waffled enough about this. It's time to hear what you think. You know how this works now. Start typing. Get in the comments. Tell me what you think. Subscribing and liking is always appreciated because you know it's YouTube. Feel free to follow any of the social medias linked in the description below because of the fact there's so many other people who follow Japanese music who are on this channel as well who are going to be very happy to talk to you about all kinds of different things. And remember that we have a Patreon and our Patreon supporters keep everything going and we really appreciate them because, God, you do actually keep everything going. This is a non-monetized channel. Oh, I ran out of words right then. And a big, big thank you for making it through to the end of this Waffle Fest video. So, until I hopefully see you very soon for the next one of these here in Japan, for now, ciao ciao.